Hello YouTube, this is Kiaz Maina. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a health and lifestyle channel where we talk about different health conditions and lifestyle modifications to accommodate the same. Karibuni. So today's video is on what your lifestyle has to do with it. It today is HIV/AIDS, but in future videos we'll talk about different conditions. Yeah, but today we are talking about HIV/AIDS. Now, first of all, I want to define what lifestyle is, and lifestyle is basically a person's way of life, how you choose to live your life, the choices you make, and how you live. Basically, that is it. Hakuna kitu ingine. And then the second definition I want to make is HIV, which stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus, and this is a virus that attacks the immune system, and when it does, and it's not treated, it causes AIDS. Now, AIDS stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. The syndrome stands for a combination of symptoms and conditions that come about when your immune system is so weak that it can't fight off infections on its own. This is usually a fatal condition, and we advise anyone who tests positive for HIV to start their RVs as early as possible so that they do not progress to AIDS. Alright, I think with the definitions we are done there. Now I want to talk about the modes of transmission for HIV/AIDS. The first one, the most commonest, and the one we are going to talk about most, is the sexual contact. The sexual transmission could be vaginal sex, anal sex, oral sex. Any kind of sex is a way to transmit HIV/AIDS. Okay, and then another is sharing or using sharp objects that have been previously used by an infected person, and now you're using them and you're not infected. You may also acquire HIV/AIDS from there. Okay. And now after that, I'm going to talk about the predisposing factors, and this is where lifestyle comes in, because predisposing factors are basically the things you do in your life, of which even your tumesema lifestyle is. It's how you choose to live your life, the things you choose to do in your life, your lifestyle. So the things you do in your life that could be putting you at risk or exposing you to risks that could cause you to acquire these conditions. Today it's HIV/AIDS. So risk factor number one, we are talking about having multiple sexual partners and not using condoms. You may have multiple sexual partners, but if you're using condoms, you're safe. And if a condom breaks, get PrEP. We're going to talk about that in the next video, because we're going to dive deeper into the HIV and AIDS thingy. But right now we're just going to brush on top kidogo. Yeah, so multiple sexual partners, make sure you use protection. Okay, another thing, now that covers now lack of condoms and lack of faithfulness. And of course, if you're having multiple sexual partners, you've chosen not to abstain. Okay, so this is a struggle you have to pick. You either have multiple sexual partners and use condoms, or you go without condoms and have one sexual partner. Chaguo ni lako. Like I said, this is your lifestyle decision. Okay, but at the end of the day, it affects maisha yako hapo mbele. That's why I'm saying be wise when you're at it. Okay, another predisposing factor is IV drug use. For those of us, or for those who, not us, me, I don't use IV drugs. For those who use IV drugs to get high, if you're sharing that needle, and among the people you're sharing it with, there is one who is HIV positive, you can contract it at that point. Okay, and another predisposing factor, for example, for health workers, is needle sticks. Needle sticks come about when you accidentally inject yourself or prick yourself with a needle that has been previously used on a person who is HIV positive. Okay, and another predisposing factor we're going to talk about is anal sex. Anal sex is common among homosexuals, but not exclusive to them. There are people in heterosexual relationships who do like anal sex. Now, it's not a bad thing, but if your partner is HIV positive, you have a higher chance of contracting HIV/AIDS than when you're having normal vaginal sex. Reasons: number one, the rectal tissues are very fragile, so they are prone to tears and breakage. And with tears and breakage, there comes bleeding. And remember, blood is one of the bodily fluids that has the highest possibility of getting you infected with HIV/AIDS. Other bodily fluids too, but blood is the highest one among those. Like, it is the top of the list. Hizi zingine zinafuata, okay? Another reason is because there is a very thin layer of epithelial cells in the rectal region as compared to the epithelial cells in your vaginal opening. That means that if either of you is HIV positive, there may be a bit more resistance for the virus to get to the other person if you're using vaginal sex. But if it's anal, penetration is quick, faster, kufanyanga hii mambo. Okay? Now, the final reason is because the rectal tissue is rich in CD4 T cells. These cells are also the cells that are targeted by the HIV virus. Okay? Now, there are cells they are white cells actually, lymphocytes. They help defend the body from infection. But unfortunately, with the HIV virus, they are not able to completely get rid of it. And eventually, when they've stayed in the body, when the virus has stayed in the body for a while, it tends to change these CD4 cells and make them to produce HIV, the HIV virus, so it becomes very rapid. And when that happens, now you get weaker and you know. Yeah. So with the anal sex, those are the three things that make it more likely to transmit HIV than the regular sex. I mean vaginal sex, let me not say regular. Inaweza kuwa hiyo ndio regular for some people. Yeah, but I think I should insert some precaution there. If you're going to have anal sex, you have to be careful. Of course, don't be rough so that you can avoid the tears and breakage and the bleeding. Therefore, you avoid the bleeding. Secondly, use lubrication. KY gel is the commonest, but any other lubricant you will find in the market, well and good. But of course, find out if it is condom friendly or not, because apparently there are some that are not condom friendly. Yeah, I think with that point it is over. Now, the final predisposing factor is poverty and stigma. Now, this is because in poor populated area, in places that have poverty, access to medical services or healthcare services is hard. Second, in those areas as well, there is high levels of insecurity and abuse, and even drug abuse, assault abuse, drug abuse, hizo vitu zote, they are more likely to be found in the poorer ghetto-ish places, ama mahali kwa maskini kuliko mahali kwa masource, if I'm making any sense. Yeah. So that's it for now, and during the next video we are going to talk much deeper about prevention and other things that you need to know about HIV/AIDS. Meanwhile, take care of yourself, do what you need to do, and chagua zile vitu unataka kufanya vizuri kwa maisha. Take charge of your lifestyle, okay? Sawa. You have a nice evening, or whatever time of day you watch this. Kama ni usiku, good night. Kama ni mchana, have a great day. We'll see you next time.